Hey, this is Thomas from Good Music Medicine. Just going to weigh in on the Fender controversy from the angle of, does this affect your average everyday player, and should it? I've watched a lot of videos from powerful YouTube guitar influencers who actually probably have some effect on the industry with what they say. But for the backbone of Fender is your everyday clients and customers. How does this affect them? What do they have to say? So I am a professional musician. I do perform locally and I teach guitar, but I'm really just an everyday player. I grew up, watching people play Fender guitars, and the mojo of Fender guitars held a lot of cachet for me in my heart, as part of the fabric of America and rock and roll. And so there's always been a love and affinity there. And I did for a number of years. I played a Fender Strat on stage and a Fender Telecaster on stage. So I have been a user of Fender products for many years. Currently, I am playing Gibson guitars. My opinion on all this, had Leo copywritten this from the beginning, and that's just sort of the way it had been, then, we might have been rolling with that and probably would have accepted it, but it wasn't done that way. And at this point, you have a lot of great people making boutique instruments that are being threatened. And so to me, that's totally not cool. Am I going to boycott Fender? I don't think so, because then I may as well boycott Gibson, because they've sued people too. And I just really, enjoy playing, American-made Fender and Gibson guitars. I will say that the quality of Fender guitars, your average American Fender, has really dropped. And if I were to buy one, I would just know it's going to need a lot of work, fret work, some neck work, some adjustments here and there. And that's just sort of par for the course. And these boutique companies can give you sort of like a Fender custom shop experience at a more reasonable price, where you get the fret boards are rolled, the edges are rolled, the frets are right, it's set up right, the intonation's right, the fit and finish are just, perfect. That feeling that when you're holding a perfect guitar. And so, for my students that want to buy guitars and have that experience, if they have $5,000 to spend on a Fender custom shop, they can have that experience. But if they don't, they could get it for maybe $2,000 from one of these boutique companies. So, I want to support that. Also, how many shapes are there? I mean, if you think about acoustic guitars, if you think about violins, think about basses, things that have been made for hundreds of years, they all sort of have this hourglass shape. It just sort of depends, what you're doing up here. Different if you're talking about a BC Rich or a Thunderbird, something with a really unique shape. But even the offset guitars sort of just start with this hourglass look. So, and to me, it's the most attractive shape for a guitar, whether, it be acoustic or electric. I just love that hourglass shape. So how does this affect me as sort of an average everyday player? I don't know. I think at this point, Fender shouldn't be doing this. It does make me think a little bit less of Fender, but again, Gibson has sued folks too, and I want to love my gear and I want to love the company. Unfortunately, it seems like these companies at this point are just corporations, and they're just so far removed from the art and the art form of being a musician. And that's just sort of the way it is. Perhaps in the future, if a student asks me, they want to buy a Fender Strat, maybe I'll suggest taking a look at a boutique Strat because of Fender's behavior. There aren't as many boutique, in my opinion, like I play a 330, there aren't as many, options, for this exact guitar, Epiphone Casino, or, maybe there's a Gretsch or a Eastman. So I guess there are some, other companies that make this shape guitar, but I do really like the Gibson 330. So how does it affect me? Just disappointing, I guess, that this is the way it's ended up and that corporations are the way they are, whether it be Gibson or Fender. I don't support this behavior on Fender. Had they done it from the beginning, we probably just all would have accepted it. But am I going to boycott them? No, no, because what's it going to do? And then again, I'd have to boycott Gibson, as I've said twice already. So I hope it doesn't work. I hope these boutique companies stay alive. They make such wonderful guitars, and they fill a real niche. It'd be one thing if Fender would get it together and start making really really high quality guitars at an affordable price for people, but that's just not going to happen. So bummer. It definitely makes you think less of Fender. But keep playing music, keep buying guitars, keep enjoying life. There's 2 cents from just your average everyday musician. Thanks.